Ever wonder why your friend only likes your posts when they need something from you? Welcome back. In 2025, fake friendship red flags have evolved with technology, and honestly, some of them are pretty ridiculous. We've gathered 23 telltale signs that'll make you question everything about your social circle. From strategic Instagram engagement to manipulative DM tactics, these behaviors are so predictable, it's almost funny. If you've ever felt like you're being used by someone you trusted, this video will validate everything you've been feeling. These modern friendship fails reveal patterns that are both infuriating and weirdly entertaining. Let's start with one of the most obvious digital red flags you've probably experienced but never really thought about. The strategic social media liker. You know that friend who suddenly becomes your biggest social media supporter right before they need something from you? This person ignores your Instagram stories for weeks, scrolls past your posts without any reaction, and acts like your online presence doesn't exist. Then, out of nowhere, they start double-tapping everything you share. Your coffee photos get heart reactions, your work updates get fire emojis, and suddenly they're commenting on pictures from 3 days ago. This modern friendship red flag involves people who strategically engage with your posts only when they're about to ask for a favor. They've turned social media interaction into a calculated game where likes and comments become currency they spend before making withdrawals from your friendship account. These fake friends don't engage because they care about your morning latte or your weekend plans. They engage because they're building up social credit. They plan to cash in very soon. They'll go weeks without liking or commenting on anything you share, then suddenly, they're heart reacting to your breakfast photos. Your mundane Tuesday morning eggs and toast post that normally gets 3 likes suddenly receives enthusiastic engagement from someone who usually treats your content like it's invisible. This isn't genuine interest in your life. It's strategic manipulation designed to make you feel noticed and appreciated right before they drop their request on you. Within 24 hours of this suspicious engagement boost, you'll receive a DM asking for help with something. The timing is never coincidental. They need you to cover their shift at work, lend them money, or help them move apartments. The sudden social media attention was just their way of buttering you up before presenting their ask. They've calculated that showing interest in your online presence will make you more likely to say yes to their requests. Real friends engage with your content consistently because they genuinely care about your life, not because they're building up social credit. They like your posts because they want to support you, not because they're planning to use you. Authentic friends don't need to strategically time their social media interactions around their personal needs. These fake friends treat your social media like a transaction. They invest likes and comments, expecting returns on their investment. Every heart reaction is a deposit they're making into your friendship account, so they can make a withdrawal later. They've figured out that people are more likely to help someone who seems interested in their life. The pattern becomes obvious once you start paying attention. Radio silence followed by sudden enthusiasm followed by favor requests. This behavior reveals they view your friendship as a business relationship rather than genuine connection. But strategic social media engagement isn't the only way fake friends manipulate timing to get what they want. The ghost who slides back in. Another manipulation tactic involves the friend who completely vanishes from your life until they need something from you. Picture this. Your friend disappears for 3 weeks without explanation. Then suddenly, your phone buzzes with, "Hey girl, I need a huge favor." You haven't heard from them since they left you on red 3 weeks ago, but now they're back with urgent requests and emotional manipulation. They act like nothing happened, like the complete radio silence was totally normal behavior between friends. This disappearing act followed by favor requests has become the signature move of fake friends in 2025. They've mastered the art of vanishing from your life completely until they need something from you. During their absence, they don't respond to your messages, ignore your calls, and act like you don't exist. Your attempts to reach out get met with complete silence, leaving you wondering if you did something wrong or if they're even alive. they'll ghost you completely with no responses to your messages and no acknowledgement of your existence. Your texts get delivered but never opened. Your calls go straight to voicemail, and they somehow manage to avoid all your mutual friends during this period. They become professional disappearing acts, making you question whether your friendship was ever real in the first place. Then, when their world falls apart, or they need something you can provide, they magically reappear in your DMs. Their car breaks down and they need rides, they're short on rent money, or they need someone to help them move apartments. Suddenly, they remember your phone number and your willingness to help people out. Their timing is always suspicious, appearing right when they have problems that require your specific resources or skills. They act like the radio silence never happened, jumping straight into their sob story or request. There's no explanation for their absence, no apology for ignoring you, and definitely no acknowledgement that their behavior was rude. They launch immediately into their crisis situation, expecting you to drop everything and help them solve their problems. There's no "how have you been" or acknowledgement of their absence, just immediate expectation of your help. They don't ask about your life, your job, or anything that's happened during their disappearing act. The conversation starts and ends with their needs, their problems, and their timeline for getting help. Real friends don't treat you like a vending machine they can ignore until they need to make a withdrawal. Genuine friendships involve consistent communication and mutual support, not strategic availability based on personal needs. The audacity of expecting immediate assistance after weeks of silence shows they don't value you as a person. But disappearing and reappearing isn't the only way fake friends violate your trust and boundaries. The screenshot betrayer. Some fake friends take their betrayal to an even more devastating level by turning your private conversations into public entertainment. You send them a vulnerable voice note about your relationship problems, thinking you're confiding in someone who cares about you. Instead, they're already planning which group chat will find your emotional breakdown the most amusing. These people have turned your trust into their social currency. These so-called friends treat your vulnerable moments like content for their group chats. Your midnight texts about feeling overwhelmed at work become screenshot material for their entertainment. They collect your personal messages like trading cards, ready to share them whenever they need something interesting to contribute to conversations. Your pain becomes their content. Your struggles become their gossip fuel. They'll screenshot your personal messages, voice notes, and confessions to share with mutual friends. That audio message where you're crying about your family drama gets saved and forwarded to people you barely know. Your private Instagram DMs about your insecurities become public knowledge among your friend group. They're documenting your lowest moments to use as entertainment later. Your breakup texts become their comedy material. Your work drama becomes their gossip fuel. When you share the awful things your ex said during your breakup, they're already planning how to retell this story at parties. Your boss giving you a hard time becomes their interesting anecdote to share with coworkers. They mine your personal life for material to make themselves seem more interesting. They have zero respect for the trust you placed in them when you opened up about sensitive topics. You thought you were talking to a friend who would keep your secrets safe. Instead, you were providing free entertainment for their social circle. The vulnerability you shared in confidence becomes public knowledge because they couldn't resist having something juicy to share. Sometimes you only discover this betrayal when someone else mentions details you only shared with one person. A mutual friend brings up your family problems that you never told them about. Someone knows about your financial struggles that you only confided to one person. That's when you realize your private conversations weren't actually private at all. They'll justify it by saying, "It wasn't that serious," or "I was just getting advice," when confronted. They minimize your feelings about the betrayal and act like sharing your private information was no big deal. They claim they were trying to help you by getting other people's opinions on your situation, but really they were just spreading your business around. Real friends understand that private conversations are sacred and would never violate that trust. They protect your secrets like they're protecting their own because they respect the confidence you placed in them. This behavior shows they value entertainment and social status more than your emotional safety. But screenshot betrayers aren't the only ones who manipulate situations to their advantage. Some fake friends have perfected an entirely different form of exclusion, the convenient memory loss expert. These friends have mastered the art of selective amnesia when it comes to including you in their plans. You scroll through Instagram and see photos from the birthday party you didn't know was happening. Your friends are all smiling at the restaurant you suggested last month, but somehow your invitation got lost in the mail. They've turned forgetting into an art form, but only when it comes to including you in social events. They'll post photos from events and gatherings, acting surprised when you mention not being invited. They upload stories from the concert you would have loved to attend, then respond with shock when you ask why you weren't told about it. They act like your exclusion was some innocent oversight, not a deliberate choice to leave you out. Their surprise feels fake because, deep down, they know exactly what they did. "Oh my God, I totally forgot to text you," becomes their standard excuse for excluding you. This phrase rolls off their tongue so easily because they've used it multiple times before. They've perfected the art of looking genuinely apologetic while delivering this lie. The timing is always convenient for them, coming right after you've discovered their social media posts from the event you missed. Yet somehow they never forget to invite the people they really want there. They remember to text their new coworker about the movie night. They remember to call their neighbor about the weekend trip. Their memory works perfectly when it comes to people they actually value. Their forgetfulness is suspiciously selective, targeting only certain people in their social circle. They'll remember to invite acquaintances and new friends, but mysteriously forget about you. People they just met get invited to intimate gatherings while you, their supposed close friend, get left out completely. They'll invite someone they barely know to their birthday party, but somehow forget to mention it to you until after the fact. This pattern reveals their true priorities and where you actually stand in their social hierarchy. This convenient forgetfulness always seems to happen when the event is something you'd actually enjoy. They never forget to invite you to help them move apartments or attend their boring work events. But concerts, parties, and fun social gatherings somehow slip their mind when it comes to including you. They know what you like, which makes their forgetfulness even more suspicious. They have perfect memory for everything else, but suddenly become scatterbrained when it comes to your inclusion. They remember your birthday, your work schedule, and personal details about your life. Their memory works fine for everything except inviting you to social events. This selective forgetfulness exposes their true intentions. Real friends make sure you're included because they genuinely want you there. When someone consistently forgets to include you, they're not forgetful. They're making a choice to exclude you while maintaining plausible deniability. But exclusion through fake forgetfulness isn't the worst betrayal fake friends commit. The group chat Saboteur. Some fake friends take their manipulation even further by turning group conflicts into opportunities to destroy your reputation. When drama erupts in the group chat, these people immediately start calculating how to protect themselves. They watch the conversation heat up and decide that sacrificing you is their best strategy for staying safe. Instead of trying to calm things down or support you, they're already planning how to distance themselves from the conflict. They'll stay silent while you're being attacked, then privately message others to distance themselves from you. While everyone else is piling on with criticism and accusations, they say nothing publicly to defend you. But behind the scenes, they're sending private messages to other group members, saying things like, "I always thought she was dramatic," or "I'm not surprised this happened." They're actively working to separate themselves from you while you're getting attacked. Instead of defending you or staying neutral, they'll actively participate in making you the scapegoat. They join the pile-on by adding their own criticisms and complaints about you. They bring up old grievances they never mentioned before, acting like they've been secretly annoyed with you for months. They help paint you as the problem person in the group, making everyone else feel justified in their treatment of you. They'll share screenshots of your previous conversations to prove they were never really that close to you. Those private messages where you vented about other people suddenly become evidence of your bad character. They'll post screenshots of conversations where you seemed upset or stressed, using your vulnerable moments as proof that you're unstable or dramatic. They turn your trust against you by making your private conversations public. These friends will sacrifice your reputation to protect their own social standing in the group. They care more about maintaining their position with everyone else than preserving their friendship with you. Your years of friendship mean nothing when their social status is at risk. They'll completely destroy your reputation if it means they get to stay in everyone's good graces. They'll even add fuel to the fire by bringing up past mistakes or embarrassing moments. They remember every time you said something awkward or made a social misstep, and now they're using those memories as ammunition against you. They bring up things you thought were forgotten, turning your past mistakes into current evidence of your character flaws. When the group turns against you, they're the first to jump ship and join the opposition. They don't just abandon you, they actively help your attackers by providing more reasons to dislike you. They become some of your harshest critics, proving they never really cared about you in the first place. Real friends either defend you or stay neutral, but they don't actively participate in your social destruction. This behavior shows they value group acceptance more than loyalty to you. When someone throws you under the bus to save themselves, they've revealed exactly who they are. But group chat sabotage isn't the only way fake friends exploit your emotional availability. The emotional vampire. Another type of fake friend turns you into their personal crisis hotline, only remembering you exist when they're having a mental breakdown and need free therapy. Your phone stays silent for weeks while they're living their best life. But the second their world starts crumbling, suddenly you're their most important contact. They don't reach out to share good news, celebrate your wins, or just check in on how you're doing. They save your number for emergencies only, treating you like their personal therapist instead of an actual friend. They'll disappear for weeks, then suddenly call you crying at 2 a.m., expecting immediate emotional support. You haven't heard from them since last month, but now they're sobbing into the phone about their relationship drama or work problems. They expect you to drop everything and become their counselor, even though they've been completely absent from your life. The timing is always inconvenient because they only think about your availability when they're desperate. They treat you like their personal therapist, but are mysteriously unavailable when you need support. When you try to share your own problems or need someone to listen, they're suddenly too busy to talk. They'll cut conversations short when you bring up your struggles, but expect hours of your time when they need to vent. Your emotional needs become invisible to them because they're only focused on their own feelings. Your phone becomes their crisis hotline, where they only dial your number when their world is falling apart. They don't call to catch up, make plans, or maintain any kind of normal friendship. Every phone call from them signals another disaster they need help processing. You start dreading their calls because you know it means another emotional dumping session where you'll give support but receive nothing in return. They'll dump all their problems on you, expect solutions, then vanish again once they feel better. After spending hours listening to their drama and offering advice, they disappear back into their lives without any gratitude or follow-up. They don't check if your advice worked or thank you for your time. Once they've used you to feel better, you cease to exist again until their next crisis hits. There's no reciprocity in emotional support because it's always about their feelings, their problems, their drama. They never ask how you're doing or show interest in your emotional state. The conversation stays focused entirely on their issues, while your feelings get ignored or dismissed. This one-sided dynamic shows they view you as an emotional resource rather than an equal friend. Real friends offer mutual emotional support, not one-sided therapy sessions. When someone only reaches out during their darkest moments, but disappears during yours, they're not seeking friendship. they're seeking free emotional labor from someone they can exploit. But emotional vampires aren't the only ones who struggle with your personal victories. The success saboteur. Some fake friends reveal their true nature when you achieve something meaningful by turning every accomplishment into a personal competition. You get a promotion at work and share the exciting news, expecting your friend to be happy for you. Instead, they immediately launch into a story about their own recent accomplishments or how they're up for an even better position. They can't let you have your moment without making it about themselves and their own success. When you share good news, they immediately try to one-up you with their own achievements. Your engagement announcement becomes their opportunity to talk about how perfect their relationship is. Your new apartment becomes a chance for them to describe their better living situation. They treat your accomplishments like challenges they need to beat, rather than moments they should celebrate with you. They'll downplay your successes by pointing out how they did something similar but better. Your college graduation gets minimized because they went to a more prestigious school. Your weight loss journey gets dismissed because they lost more pounds in less time. They find ways to make your achievements seem less impressive by comparing them to their own supposedly superior experiences. Your promotion becomes a reminder of their own career struggles. Your relationship becomes a threat to their single status. They can't separate your success from their own insecurities. When good things happen to you, they take it as a personal attack on their own life choices. Your happiness highlights what they feel is missing from their own situation. They can't genuinely be happy for you because your success makes them feel insecure about their own life. Your achievements force them to confront their own perceived failures and shortcomings. Instead of using your success as inspiration, they see it as evidence of their own inadequacy. This insecurity prevents them from offering genuine support or congratulations. These friends will find ways to minimize your achievements or explain them away as luck. They'll claim you only got the job because of connections, or that your relationship only works because you're not as demanding as other people. They refuse to acknowledge that you earned your success through hard work and dedication. They'll bring up your past failures when you're celebrating current successes. Right when you're feeling proud of your accomplishments, they'll remind you of times when things didn't go well. They use your previous struggles to diminish your current victories, making you feel like your success is temporary or undeserved. Real friends celebrate your wins as if they were their own because they genuinely care about your happiness. They understand that your success doesn't diminish their own potential for achievement. This competitive behavior reveals their insecurity and inability to maintain genuine friendships. But success saboteurs aren't the only ones who struggle with being supportive when it matters most. The social snubber. These fake friends reveal their true priorities when they're in group settings by treating you like you're completely invisible. You walk into a party where you know everyone, but suddenly your friend acts like you don't exist. They're animated and engaged with every other person in the room, but when you try to join their conversation, they give you blank stares or short responses that kill the interaction. It's like you become a ghost the moment other people are around to witness their behavior. They'll engage with everyone else while pointedly excluding you from conversations. You're standing right next to them, but they direct all their questions and comments to the other people in the circle. When someone tells a funny story, they laugh and respond to everyone except you. They ask others about their weekend plans, their job updates, and their opinions on various topics, but somehow never think to include you in these discussions. The exclusion feels deliberate because it is. These friends act completely differently around you when others are present versus when you're alone. When it's just the two of you, they're engaged and normal. But the second other people join the group, their entire demeanor toward you changes. They become colder, more distant, and less interested in anything you have to say. It's like they have two different personalities, depending on who's watching. They'll make you feel like an outsider in your own friend group. Even though you've known these people for years, they create an atmosphere where you feel like you don't belong. They share inside jokes that exclude you, make references to events you weren't invited to, and generally behave in ways that highlight your outsider status. You start questioning whether you're actually part of this group or just tolerated. Their behavior changes completely when they have a more interesting audience. If someone cooler, more successful, or more socially valuable shows up, you become completely irrelevant to them. They'll abandon mid-conversation with you to focus their attention on this new person. Your presence becomes an inconvenience they need to work around rather than a friendship they want to nurture. They'll position themselves physically to exclude you from group interactions. They stand with their backs to you, form circles that don't include you, and arrange seating so you're separated from the main conversation. These physical barriers mirror the emotional distance they're creating between you and the rest of the group. This exclusionary behavior is designed to make you feel insecure and grateful for their attention while demonstrating your lower status in their social hierarchy. Real friends include you naturally in group conversations and make sure you feel valued. But social exclusion isn't the worst betrayal these fake friends commit. Their cowardice becomes even more obvious when you actually need someone to stand up for you. The silent witness. When others attack or mistreat you, fake friends become mysteriously mute. You're getting criticized unfairly at work, and your friend who was just laughing with you 5 minutes ago suddenly finds their shoes incredibly interesting. Someone starts spreading rumors about you at a party, and your friend develops selective hearing, acting like they can't hear the lies being told about you right in front of them. They transform from engaged participants in the conversation to silent statues the moment you need backup. They'll stand by silently while someone insults you, gossips about you, or treats you poorly. When your ex starts telling people embarrassing stories about your relationship, your friend says nothing to defend you. When someone makes cruel jokes about your appearance or personal struggles, they laugh along or stay quiet instead of shutting it down. They watch you get verbally attacked and act like they're witnessing something they have no power to stop. These friends prioritize their own comfort over defending you. They don't want to create awkward situations or make enemies, so they sacrifice your dignity to maintain their own social standing. Speaking up for you might make them uncomfortable or put them in conflict with others, so they choose silence as their safest option. They calculate that defending you isn't worth the potential social cost to themselves. They'll watch you get hurt and do nothing to intervene or support you. When someone publicly embarrasses you or treats you disrespectfully, they become passive observers instead of active allies. They witness your pain and humiliation but decide that getting involved would be too risky for their own reputation. Your suffering becomes background entertainment they can ignore. Their silence during your difficult moments speaks volumes about their loyalty. Real friends can't stay quiet when they see you being mistreated because they genuinely care about your well-being. But fake friends prove through their inaction that your dignity and emotional safety mean nothing to them. They show you exactly where you rank in their priorities by choosing silence over support. They'll later claim they didn't want to get involved or didn't know what to say. After watching you get hurt, they'll approach you privately with excuses about why they couldn't help. They'll act like they were powerless to intervene, as if speaking up required superhuman courage they didn't possess. These explanations are designed to make you feel sorry for them instead of angry about their abandonment. This cowardly behavior shows they don't value you enough to risk any social discomfort. When someone watches you get hurt and does nothing, their silence is actually a choice to abandon you. But some fake friends take their toxic behavior even further by actively creating the very conflicts they refuse to help you resolve. The drama addict. These friends seem to thrive on chaos and actively create or escalate conflicts within your social circle. Your friend group is having a peaceful week with no major issues, but suddenly this person starts asking loaded questions designed to stir up trouble. They'll bring up sensitive topics they know will cause arguments, then sit back and watch the drama unfold. They have an uncanny ability to turn minor disagreements into major conflicts by adding their own inflammatory comments and observations. They'll stir up drama between mutual friends just to have something entertaining to watch. When two people in your group have a small misunderstanding, they'll make sure to tell each person what the other supposedly said about them. They exaggerate details, add context that wasn't there, and present information in ways designed to make both parties angrier. They act like they're trying to help by sharing this information, but really they're creating entertainment for themselves. These friends enjoy being at the center of every conflict and controversy. When drama happens, they position themselves as the person everyone comes to for updates and inside information. They love being the one who knows all the details about who's fighting with whom and why. They insert themselves into every argument, not to resolve it, but to make sure they stay relevant to the situation. They'll share inflammatory information designed to create tension and arguments. They remember every complaint anyone has ever made about anyone else and strategically bring up these grievances at the worst possible moments. They'll tell you that someone criticized your outfit behind your back or that another friend called you annoying last week. This information might be true, but they're sharing it to create conflict, not to help you. Their presence somehow always coincides with increased drama in your social circle. Before they joined your friend group, everyone got along relatively well, but since they've been around, there's constant tension, ongoing feuds, and regular blow-ups between people. They seem to attract chaos wherever they go, and peaceful interactions become rare when they're involved. They feed off the emotional energy of conflicts and seem bored by peaceful interactions. When everyone's getting along and having normal conversations, they look restless and disinterested. But the moment someone gets upset or an argument starts, they become animated and engaged. They perk up during tense moments and seem energized by other people's emotional distress. These friends will create problems where none existed just to have something to talk about. They'll start rumors, misrepresent conversations, and plant seeds of doubt between people who were previously getting along fine. They manufacture drama because they find peaceful friendships boring and unstimulating. Real friends prefer harmony and work to resolve conflicts rather than create them. This drama-seeking behavior shows they value entertainment over genuine relationships. But creating chaos isn't the only way fake friends avoid taking responsibility for their actions. The blame shifter. Some fake friends take their avoidance of accountability to an extreme level, making it impossible for them to admit fault in any situation. You show up late to meet them because they gave you the wrong address, but somehow it becomes your fault for not double-checking the location. They forget to pick you up from the airport after promising they would be there, but it's your fault for not reminding them multiple times. These people have mastered the art of rewriting history to make themselves look innocent in every situation. They'll blame you for their poor choices, bad moods, and failed plans. When they decide to start drama with mutual friends, they claim you encouraged them to do it. When they're having a terrible day at work, they take it out on you and then blame you for putting them in a bad mood. Their weekend plans fall through because they didn't make proper arrangements, but somehow it becomes your fault for not helping them organize everything better. These friends refuse to take responsibility for their actions and always find someone else to blame. They never admit when they've hurt your feelings or made mistakes that affected you. Instead, they search for ways to make their behavior your responsibility. They'll claim you misunderstood their intentions or that you're remembering the situation wrong. Their inability to acknowledge fault makes every conversation feel like you're talking to someone who lives in an alternate reality. When they hurt your feelings, it becomes your fault for being too sensitive. They'll say cruel things about your appearance or personal choices, then claim you're overreacting when you get upset. Your emotional response becomes evidence of your character flaws, rather than a natural reaction to their hurtful behavior. They make you feel guilty for having feelings about the way they treat you. They'll twist situations to make themselves the victim, even when they're clearly in the wrong. When they betray your trust by sharing your secrets, they claim they were just trying to help you by getting advice from others. When they cancel plans at the last minute, they act like you're being unreasonable for feeling disappointed. They reframe every conflict to make you look like the aggressor and themselves like the innocent party. Their inability to apologize or admit fault makes resolving conflicts impossible. Genuine apologies require acknowledging harm and expressing remorse, but these friends skip straight to justifying their actions. They can't move past disagreements because they refuse to take responsibility for their part in creating problems. Real friends own their mistakes and apologize when they've hurt you. This blame-shifting behavior shows they lack the maturity for genuine relationships. When someone never takes responsibility for their actions, they're revealing something even more troubling about how they view your relationship with them. The resource leech. These friends excel at turning your generosity into their personal resource center, treating your belongings like items they can borrow indefinitely. You lend them your favorite jacket for a party, and 6 months later it's still hanging in their closet. They ask to borrow $20 for lunch and somehow never remember to pay you back, even when you see them spending money on other things. They'll borrow money, clothes, or possessions and conveniently forget to return them. Your books disappear into their apartment, your kitchen supplies become permanent fixtures in their home, and your tools somehow migrate to their garage. When you ask about getting your things back, they act surprised and claim they forgot they had them. They make you feel awkward for wanting your own belongings returned, as if asking for your stuff back makes you selfish. Your connections become their networking opportunities. Your resources become their solutions. They meet your coworkers at parties and immediately start asking about job openings. Your gym membership becomes their free workout access when they ask you to bring them as a guest every week. They use your professional contacts to advance their career while offering nothing in return. Your network becomes their personal directory of people they can exploit. They'll use your Netflix password, eat your food, and crash at your place without offering anything in return. Your streaming accounts become their entertainment system, your refrigerator becomes their meal source, and your couch becomes their regular sleeping spot. They never offer to split the bills, bring groceries, or contribute to household expenses. Your apartment becomes their second home, but they treat you like a free hotel rather than a friend. These friends see you as a source of free stuff rather than a person deserving respect. They calculate what they can get from you rather than thinking about what they can give to the friendship. Every interaction becomes an opportunity for them to extract value from your generosity. They remember what you have that they want, but they forget to appreciate your friendship. Their requests for help are frequent and demanding, but they're never available when you need assistance. When you need someone to help you move or require emotional support, they're suddenly busy with other commitments. They only remember your number when they need something from you. Real friends maintain reciprocity and respect your boundaries around sharing. This exploitative behavior shows they view you as a resource to be used rather than a friend to be valued. But taking advantage of your material generosity isn't the only way fake friends damage your well-being. The self-esteem destroyer. Some fake friends specialize in systematically destroying your self-confidence through calculated psychological attacks. You leave conversations with them questioning your decisions, your appearance, and your worth as a person. They have this uncanny ability to drain your confidence with seemingly innocent comments that stick with you long after you've walked away. You start noticing that spending time with them correlates with increased anxiety and self-doubt about things you never questioned before. They'll subtly undermine your confidence with backhanded compliments and passive-aggressive comments. When you get a new haircut, they say, "It's so brave of you to try something different," with a tone that suggests bravery was necessary because the result isn't good. They comment on your outfit choices by saying, "You always wear such unique pieces," in a way that makes unique sound like code for questionable. These comments are designed to sound supportive, while actually planting seeds of insecurity. Your achievements get minimized while your failures get magnified and remembered. When you share news about a promotion at work, they immediately point out how much more stressful your new position will be. They remember every mistake you've made and bring them up during unrelated conversations, making you feel like your past failures define you. Meanwhile, your successes get dismissed as luck or explained away as less impressive than they actually are. They'll point out your flaws while ignoring your strengths. They notice when you gain weight, but never comment when you lose it. They criticize your social skills, but never acknowledge when you handle difficult situations well. They have selective vision that focuses only on your weaknesses and blind spots, while remaining completely oblivious to your positive qualities and accomplishments. These friends seem to enjoy watching your self-confidence crumble. They get subtle satisfaction from seeing you doubt yourself after their comments. When you express insecurity about something, they don't offer reassurance or support. Instead, they pile on with additional reasons why your concerns might be valid, making you feel even worse about yourself. They'll compare you unfavorably to others and make you feel inadequate. They point out how much more successful their other friends are, or how much better someone else handles similar situations. These comparisons are designed to make you feel like you're falling behind in life or not measuring up to reasonable standards. Their presence in your life correlates with increased self-doubt and insecurity. You start questioning decisions you used to make confidently and seeking validation for choices you previously felt good about. Your mental health suffers as their constant criticism becomes internalized negative self-talk. Real friends build you up and help you see your own worth. This destructive behavior reveals they feel threatened by your potential. When someone consistently makes you feel bad about yourself, they're not a friend. They're emotionally abusive. But destroying your self-esteem isn't the only way fake friends violate your personal limits. The boundary bulldozer. These friends treat your personal boundaries like suggestions they can completely ignore whenever it suits them. When you tell them you don't want to discuss your relationship problems, they keep asking intrusive questions until you cave. You say you need space to process something difficult, but they show up at your door demanding to know what's wrong. They hear your boundaries as challenges to overcome, rather than limits to respect. These people operate under the belief that persistence will eventually wear down your resistance. They'll push you to share more than you're comfortable with, then use that information against you. You mention feeling uncomfortable talking about your family issues, but they keep prying until you finally open up. Later, they bring up these private details in front of other people or use them as ammunition during arguments. They collect your vulnerable moments like weapons they can deploy when it benefits them. Your discomfort becomes their entertainment as they watch you squirm under their pressure. These friends don't respect your no and will keep pushing until you give in. You decline their invitation to go out because you're exhausted, but but they spend an hour trying to convince you to change your mind. They act like your reasons for saying no are just obstacles they need to overcome with enough persuasion. Your initial response doesn't matter to them because they've decided what you should do regardless of your feelings. They'll show up uninvited, overstay their welcome, and ignore your need for space. You're having a quiet evening at home when they knock on your door expecting to hang out. When you hint that you're tired and ready for them to leave, they pretend not to notice your signals. They make themselves comfortable in your space without considering whether their presence is wanted or convenient for you. Your privacy becomes their entertainment. Your comfort zone becomes their challenge. They read your personal messages when you leave your phone unattended. They ask inappropriate questions about your finances, relationships, and personal struggles. They treat your private life like public information they're entitled to access whenever they want. They'll guilt trip you when you try to maintain healthy boundaries. When you refuse to lend them money again, they make you feel selfish for protecting your finances. They claim you're being a bad friend for not sharing every detail of your life with them. They manipulate your emotions to make boundary setting feel like betrayal. Real friends respect your boundaries without needing explanations or justification. They understand that healthy relationships require mutual respect for personal limits. This boundary-crossing behavior shows they don't see you as an autonomous person with the right to make decisions about your own life. But violating your boundaries isn't the most devastating betrayal fake friends can commit. The loyalty flipper. The most devastating betrayal comes from friends who abandon you the moment someone more interesting, successful, or useful enters their life. You've been close for years, sharing inside jokes and supporting each other through difficult times. Then they meet someone with better connections, more money, or higher social status, and suddenly you become invisible. They start canceling plans with you to spend time with their new friend, and your text messages get shorter responses or no responses at all. The person you thought cared about you has found someone who offers them more value. They'll drop you for new friends without explanation or consideration for your feelings. One day you're texting regularly and making weekend plans, and the next day you're getting left on read. They don't bother explaining why they're pulling away or acknowledge that their behavior is hurtful. You're left wondering what you did wrong while they're busy building relationships with people they perceive as more beneficial to their goals. Your confusion and hurt feelings don't matter to them because they've already moved on to better options. Your years of friendship mean nothing when they find someone who offers them more. All those memories you created together, the trust you built, and the support you provided during their hardest moments get erased the moment they find someone more advantageous. They act like your shared history never happened, treating you like a stranger they barely know. The depth of your connection becomes irrelevant when they calculate what their new friend can provide that you cannot. They'll replace you in their social circle and act like your friendship never mattered. The spot you used to occupy in their life gets filled by someone else, and they make no effort to maintain both relationships. They invite their new friend to events they used to attend with you, share experiences that were once exclusive to your friendship, and create new traditions that don't include you. They erase your presence from their life as if you were never important to them. These friends treat relationships like upgrades, always looking for something better. They view friendships as transactions where they constantly evaluate whether they're getting the best possible deal. When someone more impressive enters their life, they immediately start calculating whether this new person offers superior benefits. They approach relationships like they're shopping for the best product rather than nurturing meaningful connections. They'll reconnect with you only when their new friendships don't work out. When their shiny new friend disappoints them or moves away, they suddenly remember your phone number. They act like no time has passed and expect you to welcome them back without addressing their previous abandonment. Their loyalty is entirely dependent on what you can offer them in the moment, rather than genuine care for your well-being. Real friends value the history and connection you've built together. When someone easily discards your friendship for someone new, they've shown you exactly who they are. These patterns of fake friendship behavior have become increasingly common, and recognizing them is the first step toward protecting yourself from people who don't deserve your trust. The patterns we've explored reveal a harsh truth about modern friendship dynamics that many people struggle to acknowledge. These behaviors aren't random personality quirks or occasional lapses in judgment. They represent systematic approaches to extracting value from relationships while giving nothing meaningful in return. The solution isn't complicated, but it requires courage to implement. Real friends give energy. Fake friends take it. Invest in the givers. Your emotional well-being depends on surrounding yourself with people who celebrate your successes, support you during struggles, and respect your boundaries without needing constant reminders. If your gut says a friendship is draining you, step back and focus on relationships that fuel your well-being. Trust that instinct when something feels wrong, because authentic connections should enhance your life, not complicate it with manipulation and emotional exhaustion.